Have you any Samhain wisdom for us?
Beware of the haunted house.
Would you like an apple? Or perhaps a fermented eyeball for a snack? Just a little treat from my house to yours. Good evening and welcome back to 13 Nights of Samhain. So, not all witches wear pointy hats. If this is your first time here, my name is Jody McDowell and this is my husband Stephen.
Hello.
And we're here to show you our Samhain decorations, and I'm going to prepare one of my favorite autumn meals, which my lovely husband absolutely hates and will not eat, so I'll be dining alone this evening, but I hope that you'll enjoy it. And I think that is our plan for this evening. So settle in, grab a cup of tea. I'm going to make a lovely cocktail as I prepare a meal and show you how I do that. And we will be back in a moment as I get a little more comfortable and, well, that sounded not quite how I intended, but, well, you know, I'm going to get a little more comfortable so that I can begin cooking and making myself a delicious cup of eggnog coffee with a shot and some of those lovely fall spices to bring in prosperity and joy and protection. So let's get started. Welcome back. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to be making some sweet potato sausage soup this evening and about to pour myself a nice hot cup of coffee with a bit of spiked eggnog for the season, which might be Yule, but for me it starts in October with Samhain. It's one of those beautiful associations. I finally get to have it. And I'm going to be adding some ginger, some nutmeg, and a bit of cinnamon to it. And, well, I'm going to be naughty here and add a bit of, you got it, Ready Whip. I am not sponsored by any of these brands. I'm too small a channel. This is just what I have in my kitchen. So let's go ahead. I need coffee here. Go ahead and go. This beauty here, pour this. Go. And now put a swig of eggnog. We call this giggle juice in our house. I wonder why. And last but not least, well, I'm getting ahead of myself. A little bit of ginger. A pinch of cinnamon. And let's get some nutmeg in here. Last but not least, go ahead and oh, look at that. Yummy. Okay. First sip is always the best. Stick of, I never buy unsalted butter, so this is salted cream, sweet cream butter. Toss that in there, get it started. And I roast tons and tons of garlic to keep in the house for instances just like this, in olive oil, and I keep it in my refrigerator. Pull it out and soften it. It doesn't call for garlic, but garlic is good in everything. So let's add a couple tablespoons of that. It'll add really nice flavor. That going. Oh, look at that. Okay. Let's get this butter melted so that we can get started. Onions in here. I'm going to cook these until they're nice and golden. We get that nice sweet caramelization. I have pre-measured all of my seasonings here. So here I've got white pepper and salt. I'm going to go ahead and throw this in here. It'll help the onions break down, release their water, and get nice and golden and caramelized. Okay, these onions are just sizzling away here. I'm going to add my seasoning. So I've got my crushed sage. This is from my garden. I did dry it myself. So we've got all of that lovely intention going in here, the love and time involved, the protection. Here we've got ginger, cinnamon, nutmeg, clove. I feel like there's something else and I can't remember what. Ginger, cinnamon, nutmeg, clove. No, that's it. Go ahead and add that so that it toasts in that butter as it's cooking and really infuses everything. It's so fragrant. Wow. I wish you could smell the fragrance of this ginger. It is just beyond amazing. Okay. And here, I'm going to add my sausage. This is sweet Italian sausage. Here, so I get nice clumps. I'm getting this all cooked. And I know it won't brown quite as well as if I browned the meat first, but I like it like this. It's delicious. You can do it whichever way you prefer. It still cooks delightfully. Just broken up and cooked till it's just about through. Honestly, if you wanted to add greens to this, now would be in a few minutes would be a perfect time. Add cabbage, kale, spinach. I add those things to most of my soups, especially kale. I'm a huge kale eater. But this soup, I went with what I had in the house, and it was so delicious, I kept the recipe as is. I actually had a chef as a roommate up at that particular time, and he asked if he could take this recipe and use it for a catering gig he was doing that weekend. And I said, sure. So here I am sharing it with you. Okay, this is starting to get a little done here. A quart of chicken stock, which is 4 cups. Go ahead and pour that on in, and let's give that a good stir. Today I didn't have any homemade on hand, so I went with a little help from my pantry. I'm going to let this simmer for, I'm going to increase the heat. Let that simmer for about 10-15 minutes until the meat is just about done. Then I will add the sweet potato, and at the very last minute, I will melt in the cream cheese, and it'll be ready to serve. Okay, I'll be back in a few. Okay, we've got the soup at a rolling boil here. Everything looks delicious. I'm going to go ahead and add my yam or butternut squash or pumpkin, whichever one it is that you have. Go ahead and add that in. Just incorporated. My goodness, look at that. Can you see that? How creamy that is? It's absolutely beautiful. It's looking pretty delicious here. I'm going to taste that in just a moment to see if I need to balance my seasonings out at all. Before I add the cream cheese, oh, that's delicious. Okay, for my particular liking, I'm going to add a little bit of hot pepper flakes, and have some special ones from our anniversary tip to Coppola's a couple of years ago. They are beautiful, delicious, not too hot, and very smooth. I'm not going to double dip. A couple little shakes there. Give that a stir in. Oh my goodness, look at that. Now, I don't want my cream cheese to curdle. I'm going to temper it. That'll also help break it down so it'll go in easier. Normally I use block cream cheese, but I found it difficult to get it to incorporate. So, switching over to the whipped, which has the work half done for me. Incorporate what leftover sweet potato in there. Get this in here. Stir. Okay, add the rest of that container here. Add a nice stir. For those of you who are sensitive to different ingredients, the soup is 100% gluten-free. It is obviously not dairy-free. It can be made vegan if you want. I don't know the substitutions for the cream cheese. But those of you who cook that way often do. And honestly, it's delicious even before the cream cheese, and I would just add more vegetables and maybe some vegan sausage to give it that hearty texture for a vegetarian or vegan option. So here we go. That looks pretty amazing. I'm going to dish up a bowl and see how this is.